What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and you may hear some sounds of dejection. Is that even a word? You might hear the dejected sound in my voice. There we go, that probably makes a bit more sense. And you're probably wondering why. Well, this is something I saw a long time coming. Why, you might ask, is, well, I have eyes, I have a logical brain, and I can put two and two together and realize that Crackdown 3 is absolute trash. I realized that several years ago when they were showing it off properly, and then it got delayed several more times. Anyway, what am I talking about? Well, Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3, Crackdown 3, Crackdown 3. Or as I like to call it, Crackdown 360, because it looks like a 360 game on PC max settings, so not that good. But anyway, Crackdown 3 is about to release, and for all intents and purposes, this game is already dead on arrival. This game is flopped already. Everywhere is panning this game. It's getting 3 out of 10, it's getting 2 out of 5, it's getting, I just want this to be over. The game does not look good. The game does not review good. The game does nothing good, except for maybe have Terry Crews. But overall, it's a poor situation, and it feels like that this is just the, I won't say epitome, this feels like it's the culmination of several years of what I can only call Microsoft syndrome or Xbox One syndrome or whatever it is. Because let's face it, throughout this entire generation, unfortunately, Microsoft has dropped the ball repeatedly. Between the initial launch of the Xbox One, which was a disaster unto itself, to the extremely few exclusive games that were actually on there, coupled with cancelling some exclusive games, and of course, the ones that actually do release are generally substandard and subpar. For the most part, of course. I realize someone's going to say, oh, but Forza Horizon is great. That may be the case, but you can't sell a console and support a console on Forza games. People buy Microsoft and people buy Xbox One for Halo. People buy it for Gears of War. And whatever other first party or third party exclusive stuff they want to contract out or put out themselves. Now, let me just give you a quick example. A little while back, now this was a couple of years ago at this point, I actually believed at the time when Scalebound was cancelled, this was before Microsoft completely went into the deep end and just fucking drowned themselves. But when Scalebound was cancelled, I looked at it and said, okay, this is technically a bad thing. Of course, a game being cancelled is a bad thing for multiple reasons. But on top of that, Microsoft were in the position where they still had time to spend whatever money they wanted, to do whatever they wanted, recruit whoever they wanted, buy whatever they wanted, to actually turn things around and do stuff. Now, I believe that was at the start of maybe 2017, possibly 2016, but I want to say it was at the start of 2017. Now, here we are, over 2, possibly over 3 years later, and no, it really hasn't turned around at all. Now, let's go back and look at some other flubs and other fuck-ups they've had, okay? Well, we've already talked about the initial launch of the Xbox One being an absolute disaster, but let's look at everything else that's come out since then. Let's go with exclusive-wise. We'll look at first-party. I'm not talking like Titanfall and stuff, because let's face it, that was on the 360 and on PC. But let's look at their first big first-party flub, which came 1 year after the console launched, in the form of the Master Chief Collection. Now, the Master Chief Collection, 5 years later, that's right, 5 years later, is still being worked on. It's not completely finished, it's still being salvaged, still being fixed. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Master Chief Collection. I absolutely adore Halo as a series. I love Halo 1, it's one of my favourite first-person shooter games of all time. Halo 2 is fantastic, Halo 3 is fantastic, ODST is decent. Halo 4 is okay, but with all the remastering and effort and all put into the Master Chief Collection, I'm very happy, kind of, with what it can deliver. But everything else, Microsoft, what are you doing? Halo 5, Quantum Break, Halo Wars 2, depending on who you ask, Gears of War 4. And those are the average games. Those are the okay games. Then you have the other stuff, like State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, and now Crackdown 360. These games were always going to be bad. Everyone saw this coming a mile away, literal years away. People saw this stuff going down the shitter. What's happened? It's gone down the shitter. And frankly, at this point, I'm fucking sick and tired of it. I'm done, basically. That's the best way I can say it. And I say this as someone who just recently, less than a week ago, bought an Xbox One X again. I am so sick and tired of the Xbox One generation at this point. I'm so sick and tired, and I am just absolutely ready for it to be over. Simply because a fresh start in a new generation, Microsoft could potentially use that as a blank slate to just change all their policies, all their development, everything around. Now, what do I mean by that? Because I know someone is always going to say, oh, but Microsoft are doubling down on games. They bought all these new studios and all. That's fantastic. They bought all these new studios in 2018. I can't wait to see when their games actually come to fruition. They might actually be good in probably about 3 years from now, minimum. And of course, Xbox One in 3 years from now, probably 2021, 2022. Not a fucking hope. It's going to be like the 360. They're going to try drop support for the Xbox One as soon as possible. It's like Nintendo with the Wii U. They wanted to move away from that shit as soon as possible. The second the Switch dropped, they moved away from the Wii U completely. Microsoft are going to be exactly the same. As soon as the Xbox 2 comes out, or whatever the fuck they're going to call it, they are going to move away from the Xbox One ASAP. This generation has been an absolute joke from Microsoft. Microsoft came into the game strong back in their first console, coming in second out of 4 consoles on their first attempt, beating out industry veterans like Nintendo and Sega. They did phenomenal during the 360 era, despite the red ring of death and several other problems. But this one has been an absolute shit show. I hope a lot of these policies, a lot of this absolutely everything just completely changes and gets reversed in the next generation. Say what you want about the person and what he eventually did. Don Matrick did wonders for the Xbox 360 during that generation. We can thank him why we have many high quality first party games and third party exclusives on the Xbox 360. Xbox One, not the case. He made a fairly substantial fuck up at the very, very start. I'm not just talking about the always online thing. I'm sure he had a hand with the underpoweredness and the whole factoring in Kinect as well. I'm sure he was all factored into that whole situation, not just the always online check-in, digital games and whatnot. And then when it was passed over to Phil Spencer, he did a couple of things right at the start. And then 2015 hit and everything fucking just fell apart. To the point where all these games come out on PC day and date now, which works out for me, because I can play them in a better form. I can play Gears of War 4 better than an Xbox One X can. When Gears of War 5 comes out, which I am looking forward to, I can play that better than an Xbox One X can. Halo Infinite, I can play that better than an Xbox One X can. Thankfully, because that series is finally coming back to PC, I can't wait. Who knows, maybe the big Master Chief Collection announcement that they've teased for March will be a PC version. I've kind of already built it up in my head that that's what it's going to be, so I'm just going to let myself down at this point. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Microsoft needs a change. I am sick and tired of what Xbox has become for the last 6 years at this point. It's mistake after mistake after mistake, disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. There's absolutely no wonder why Sony have over double, almost triple the sales of Xbox One. And Nintendo is about to pass the Xbox One sales of what the Xbox managed to get in nearly 6 years. Nintendo is going to do in 2. And that's probably going to sound really, really confusing coming from me for a lot of people, because many people think I'm an absolute Nintendo hater. But anyway, that's basically it. We need a new Xbox generation. The next Xbox, as soon as this generation starts, it's going to hopefully be their wake-up call. They should realize that, okay, we fucked up this generation. We need to focus on A, B, C, and not worry about X, Y, Z. We need to give people high-quality games, something that we haven't done in a long, long time at this point by review scores, sales numbers. So hopefully they can actually get this right next time. Because it doesn't matter what you think about Microsoft, if you hate them, if you love them, if you're a Nintendo fanboy, if you're a Sony fanboy. The fact is, if Microsoft in the next generation are an actual proper competition to Sony, then there will be more innovation there. It will kind of force Sony's hand to do a couple of new series, new products, new services, new whatever. It will force them to innovate. And that's best for the consumer. Best for the gamer. Anyway, that's it. We're going to round out the video. I'm just sick and tired of Xbox One, the mentality at Microsoft, and the attitude of everything in this generation. I can't wait to play Gears of War 5 on PC. I can't wait to play the Gears of War tactical game as well, again on PC. And of course, Halo Infinite on PC. Hopefully all the mindset and the processes and the policies and the thinking and all this management, whatever it is, all this change is hopefully going into the next generation, and we can see a proper improvement and proper competition instead of just getting ruffle stomped. But anyway, let me know in the comments section below what you think. Do you think with games like Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, and State of Decay 2 absolutely flopping, do you think Microsoft has really dropped the ball? Do you think it's so many different policies, so many different products, so many different whatever it is has to change? Do you think it's going to change? Do you think it's going to start now? Personally, I don't. Or do you think it's going to be a new generation refresh? Do you think they're going to go big, launch big, and try to keep up the momentum from there? Hopefully they do. Let me know how you feel about anything we talk about in this video in the comments section below. Hit the appropriate button to let me know how you did on the video, and while you're at it, why not head on over and hit the subscribe button. Let's get those numbers up to 850, where we have a little bit of a Dank Souls 3 100% blind playthrough, no hand holding, no help, no anything. And then let's edge it even further, hit the 1000 mark, and get the fabled game room tour, because, well, retro gamer memes, am I right? Feel free to ring the notification bell, although granted getting a notification from YouTube in current year about a new video upload or a live stream or whatever is a whole other story. But hey, at least you can say you tried, am I right? As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.